The day started like any other, but it quickly turned into something no one could have ever imagined. Theseus, the man everyone looked up to, was out hunting with his new wife, Hippolyta, and her beautiful but troubled sister, Emily. They were deep in the forest, the kind of place where the air smells of pine and the ground is soft with leaves, when they stumbled upon something that would change everything. There, in a clearing, they saw two men locked in a fierce battle. They were fighting like their lives depended on it, and maybe they did. The two men, Palamon and Arcite, were once friends, but now they were enemies, and the reason was simple. They both loved Emily. Theseus, being the leader he was, stepped in and pulled them apart. He was about to end their lives right there, but Hippolyta and Emily begged him to spare them. Theseus, moved by their pleas, decided to give them a chance, but it wasn't going to be easy. He announced a grand tournament a year from that day, where each man would bring 100 knights. The winner would get Emily's hand in marriage, and the loser would meet a grim fate. Theseus built a massive stadium for the tournament, with temples to the gods at each end. One temple was dedicated to Venus, the goddess of love, and the other to Mars, the god of war. Palamon went to Venus's temple and prayed with all his heart, asking for her help. Arcite, on the other hand, went to Mars's temple and did the same. Both received signs from the gods, but the signs were vague and left them wondering what would happen. Emily, who had always wanted to remain a virgin, prayed to Diana, the goddess of the hunt, asking to be left alone, but Diana was not on her side. Emily was destined to marry one of the two men, and there was no escaping it. The year leading up to the tournament was filled with tension and anticipation. Palamon and Arcite prepared their knights, trained day and night, and did everything they could to ensure victory. They were evenly matched in love, war, and virtue, making it impossible to predict who would win. On the day of the tournament, the stadium was packed with people. The air was thick with excitement, and everyone was eager to see who would emerge victorious. The battle was intense, and both sides fought with all their might. In the end, Palamon was taken prisoner, bleeding heavily. Arcite, the victor, was celebrated by the crowd, and Emily, following the favor of fortune, smiled upon him. But fate can be cruel. As Arcite was about to claim his prize, his horse shied from a mysterious specter. The horse reared and Arcite was thrown, his chest crushed against the saddle horn. He died soon after, leaving everyone in shock. The tournament that was meant to decide Emily's fate ended in tragedy. After years of mourning, Theseus, seeing the pain in Emily's heart, suggested she marry Palamon. Despite the loss, Palamon and Emily found a way to be happy together, living a life filled with love and respect. But the story of Palamon and Arcite, and the tournament that decided their fates, remained a reminder that sometimes even the best laid plans can be overturned by the unpredictable nature of fate. The gods, it seemed, had their own plans and no one could escape them. The wife of Bath is a force to be reckoned with. She takes the lessons she's learned from men about power and uses them to level the playing field. She adopts the clever tricks that writers have condemned for centuries, using them to assert her own life and happiness. Like Boccaccio's Madonna Philippa, she admits to the very things that men fear and suspect in their wives, but she does it openly and courageously. She becomes a living nightmare for misogynists, turning their own tools against them. When her husband, Jankin, burns a book that insults women, she responds by burning the book that insults her. This act of rebellion allows them to move beyond the old conventions and find true joy together. They agree to stop fighting for control and instead build a partnership based on mutual respect and trust. The other pilgrims react strongly to the wife of Bath. The scholar from Oxford, perhaps feeling a bit stung by her criticism of male scholars, tells the story of Griselda, a wife who shows extraordinary patience and obedience. But even this tale, meant to show the ideal wife, ends up questioning the power dynamics in marriages. Griselda's husband is so cruel that it makes you wonder if a life of such submission is really worth it. Wouldn't an equal partnership, where both partners treat each other with respect, be better? The merchant, who has only been married for 2 months, is already complaining that his wife is the worst possible. His story is about January, an old knight who marries a young, beautiful girl named May. January is so naive that he doesn't see the huge gap between them in age, beauty, and desires. May, feeling trapped, decides to take a lover. The story shows that when one partner in a marriage is so out of touch, it can lead to disaster. The Shipman's Tale is even more cynical. It's about a wealthy merchant whose wife is unhappy with his stinginess and poor performance in bed. She and the merchant's friend, a monk, make a deal where the monk gives her money and they have an affair. The monk even gets the money from the merchant himself, and the wife cleverly covers it all up. This tale shows how marriage can sometimes be more about money and vanity than love and trust. The Franklin's Tale is a bit different. It's about a husband and wife who have a strong, equal partnership. When the wife is away, a knight tries to seduce her, and she agrees on a condition she thinks he can't meet. When the condition is unexpectedly fulfilled, her husband insists she keep her promise, more concerned about his own reputation than her well-being. But in the end, the knight shows true nobility by letting her off the hook. This tale suggests that true equality in a marriage means valuing each other's happiness and integrity. Overall, the marriage tales in the Canterbury Tales show a mix of ideas. Some, like the Franklin's Tale, hint at Chaucer's ideal of an equal marriage. But the Wife of Bath's story is the most powerful. She shows that women can be just as clever and strong as men, and that true happiness in a relationship comes from mutual respect and trust. When it comes to religion, Chaucer's view is complex. Many of the clerics in the tales are shown as corrupt and hypocritical. The friar and the summoner, for example, expose each other's frauds. The pardoner is a master of deception, using his smooth talk to exploit people for money. But there are also tales that try to inspire faith, like the prioress's story of a boy who sings even after his throat is cut. The parson, however, stands out. He's a genuine, moral man who refuses to tell fables, and instead delivers a powerful sermon on penitence and the 7 deadly sins. His message is clear. True faith is about living a good life and preparing for the afterlife. Chaucer ends the Canterbury Tales with the Parson's Tale and a retraction, where he apologizes for his earlier works that might lead people to sin. Some see this as a genuine act of repentance, while others view it as a conventional nod to piety. Either way, Chaucer's work is a rich tapestry of different voices and perspectives, each offering a unique view of the world. In the end, the Canterbury Tales is a celebration of the diversity of human experience, showing that even in a world full of contradictions, there is room for truth, love, and redemption. As Chaucer himself might say, it's a joy to remember the good times and to be grateful for the life we've lived. Even as the pilgrimage comes to an end, the stories and the lessons they teach will continue to resonate.